moving back to Minnesota, I was a little paranoid, to be honest, about getting my license, because I recall 20-something years ago moving to Minneapolis, and when I did, I was moving from the state of Iowa, and the law in Minnesota was that you didn't have to take a driving test, but you did have to take a knowledge test. And so my friend and I studied to take the knowledge test, passed it, of course, and got our Minnesota licenses. Well, that law has been in effect for 20-some years, where if you just, whether you have a license or not, if you move to the state of Minnesota, you still have to take the knowledge test. And then depending on other factors, you may have to take a driving test, but if you already have a license, you usually don't have to do that. So I'm stuck at this red light, so what else am I going to talk about? So anyway, they just changed the law, which was great. So the law changed on August 1st, 2023, and now if you have a license, you do not have to take a driver's test or a written test, the knowledge test. You can just present your existing license from another state, as long as it's in good standing, etc. And then they will process you and get you a new license. And that also applies to the motorcycle license. So I've got my Minnesota license and my endorsement and everything for motorcycles, and it ended up being super easy. Then I had to register vehicles. So vehicle registration is another thing that you have to have a lot of papers, like your title and stuff like that. But they've got a list of the different documents to bring to register your vehicle in the state, and you have to pay any related sales tax, because they want their cut of sales tax. And they'll discount based on how much sales tax you paid in another state. But then you do have to pay because the tax rates change and all this kind of stuff. It's just how they do it. Anyway, the thing that was unusual to me was that when I went to get my motorcycle registered, they told me that I needed to get a number off of the engine block. They're like, you need an engine number. I was really lucky. I rode my motorcycle to the Department of Motor Vehicles to do the registration. So the person, I had an appointment, so I didn't have to wait in line. But the person that checks your documents thankfully told me that and said, you're going to have to get the engine number. And I mean, it doesn't say that anywhere. The documentation for motorcycles is just really bad in a lot of places, where the requirements aren't clear, how to schedule appointments aren't clear, what kind of appointment isn't clear, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, they needed the engine number off of the engine block. It was easy to get, and because I had ridden my motorcycle there, I just ran out, grabbed that engine number, and came back in and registered my motorcycle. And the person that was at the desk helping me was actually the same person who had done my driver's license earlier in the morning. So we chatted about motorcycles, and they just give you your plates right there. So I walked out of the building with my temporary, like my paper copy license, because they have to process it and mail you your actual license. And then I walked away with the new registration, tags, plates, everything, so I could put those plates on, and that was that. So it was actually really easy, except for the part of not knowing that I needed to have the engine number off of the engine block, but whatever. That was easy enough.